Welcome back, everybody, to this Let's Play of Final Fantasy III for the PlayStation Portable. I am Drak. Let's get back to it, shall we? So, we are in the Dwarven Hollows right now. We're learning the secrets of the Fire Crystal, because that's where we've been directed to. But in the meantime, we're also going to be looking around, see if maybe there's some extra treasures that can be found all over the place. So that'll be awesome. Wow, that's a really, really long staircase, and a big boulder in the way. That was kind of not worth it. That was kind of frustrating. So back up to the main floor we go, and let's see if this main dwarf has something to say.
That rascal Gutsco's made off with a horn of ice. He made his getaway through the underground lake.
Alright, Gutsco. That's a name I never thought I'd hear.
We can't go after him because dwarves can't swim. But you're humans. Humans can swim. You must aid us with your amphibious abilities. Lally-ho!
Again, to the people who are like sitting there going, well, why aren't you doing like John Rhys Davies dwarf? Not that kind of dwarf in the Final Fantasy universe. Dwarves are kind of silly. So,
stop! The dwarven treasury's up ahead. All non-dwarves cannot enter. Lally-ho!
So, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. You're not gonna get the John Rhys Davies dwarf. They're just not that kind of dwarf. Alright, so this is actually the way to the subterranean lake that they were talking about. Well, in we go. Oh no, are we turning ourselves into toads again? Refia does not like toads. Aww. Poor Refia. But I just got the warts off yesterday! Alright, so let's go ahead and make our way into the subterranean lake. So this is kind of our next objective. This Gutsco guy has actually stolen what's called a Horn of Ice. This is kind of how they keep the Fire Crystal in check, so to speak. Or a possible way to keep the Fire Crystal in check. So the fact that he has one is kind of dangerous. The dwarves are supposed to guard them. So now our mission is to get the Horn of Ice back. Which, not too bad. Again, dungeons in this game don't last too long. It's one of those things where I would really love to compare it to the NES version. If I could actually read Japanese, just to see if the dungeons were this long in 3. Because something tells me that when this thing was redesigned for PlayStation Portable and, well, Nintendo DS, they redesigned the dungeons to be a little bit more straightforward. Excuse me. Now, while we are making our way through the subterranean lake, one question that I do get quite often is, what are you currently playing? What are your opinions on it? And I've just barely tried to get my regular routine kind of going again so I can play games. It's been difficult because I've got new responsibilities at college where I work, and then also classes have been keeping me fairly busy. But I have been able to play a few games. I was able to get back into Red Dead Redemption, and I haven't gotten... Here's the problem with Red Dead Redemption. It's hard to determine if you've gotten very far in it. Because I've done, I've only had about a couple hours to play it. Oh, and actually, I'll get into that in a little bit, because we just barely reached Gutsco.
Go away, Scott, Skittle, Skibubble! The horn is mine! Mine! Mine, I tell you!
Gee, that sounds like a boss fight. And I love it. His boss sprite is way cooler than his overworld sprite. So round 1 with Gutsco. Ow. Yeah, and I think this is like one of the first... No, he's only got 2 turns. 300, that's awesome. Blizzaro, let's see how well that does. 600. Okay, that's the damage that I need to be getting. And since it's the first round, we're going to go ahead and have Refia do Arrow for another 200. How are you going to do, Ingus? Not very well. Really, it's kind of looking like I'm keeping Ingus as just a person to take hits. That's kind of the point. he'll get kind of the more bulkier classes as we go along, and it's just so that I can keep him, like, if he gets hit, it's a free pass for me. Oh boy, Refi is about to die. Okay, Cura for everybody, that'll help. And we can last yet another round. Nope, round 2 didn't take him down. So let's go ahead and prep for round 3. Let's go ahead and do Cura from here on in. Blizzara. And another 600. Cura, that'll help. Ha 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 ha! Your mini missed. But you hit for 100. That was not cool. And down by 3 rounds. Are we starting to see a pattern here, guys? Holy crap. It doesn't take me that long to kill a boss. So yeah, there you go. Gutsco is defeated. And now we can claim his Horn of Ice and take it back to the dwarves. And yeah, there you go. Ark takes the Horn of Ice from him. Wah, 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 wah. He vanished? Anyway, let's bring the horn back to the dwarves. Yeah, I was just saying that, Ark. Thank you. Okay, so actually this is going to require us to go all the way through the dungeon again. But oh, look at that. We have now a mysterious shadow following us. That's kind of ominous. But while we're doing that, let me go back into Red Dead. So, like I said, it's hard to determine how far along in the story you are, because the time that I've been able to put towards it has been like maybe a couple hours each week. And in that time, you can get 4 or 5 missions done, you know, give or take. I've actually been able to, I think in my first time I was able to get done like 7 or 8 missions. And while the story is cool, it's kind of frustrating me at this point, because it really is kind of Grand Theft Auto in the Old West. And one of the things that people have advertised to me on this game that I would absolutely love is the character John Marston. And I get little tidbits here and there, but I want to see like a legit backstory for him, and they haven't done that for me yet. And that's kind of frustrating, because if I'm supposed to like this guy, then I would like to be able to see what he's gone through in his life to come to his conclusions. Because the way that they kind of show is like he was a bandit, but now is no longer. And that's just frustrating to me. But overall, I'm liking it. I don't think I'm that far into the game. I maybe have unlocked a couple of other people who can give me missions, but that's about it. Including an old guy that I'm really kind of appreciating. He's kind of dinky. Alright, so let's get this Horn of Ice back to the dwarves.
Lally-ho, lally-ho! Thank you for returning the horn!
Alright.
Put it back on the shrine beside the other. I'll take down the ward. Here we go. Lally-ho!
Yes, I will never take them seriously.
You can approach the shrine now and put the horn back where it belongs.
I swear, I'm gonna get a comment. It's like, you're making these dwarves sound like Keebler elves. They kind of are! That's kind of the thing. They kind of are. Okay, so now we have 2 Horns of Ice.
I was disguised as your shadow. Thanks for leading me up to the shrine.
Yeah, we kind of got that, dude. That was not really hidden very well.
Now both horns are mine!
I'm sorry, Gutsco just looks silly. Gutsco steals the Horns of Ice.
No! What? How'd you do that? And why'd you keep stealing the horns in the first place?
Well, okay.
You silly twits! These are the Horns of Ice! Wards against the Fire Crystal's flame!
Okay.
They are the key to the tunnel leading to the crystal! Now that I have them both, the power of the Crystal of Fire is mine! Mine! Lally-ho, no! Now both have been stolen! Gutsco must have gone to the mountain to the north. Please take the horns back from that scoundrel.
So now you kind of see his plot, where he's going to try and steal the fire crystal, or take the power of the fire crystal, by using the horns of ice on it. That's cool and all, but you know, we're the light warriors, so we have to go stop it. Yeah, kind of our thing. So at this point, actually, is where I actually did take a grinding break, because I did want to get myself a little bit higher than where I was for this. I believe it's the magma cavern or whatever. It's the fire crystal, so obviously we're going to have some fire traps and things like that. But you, thankfully, do not have to deal with the grinding. So we're just going to go ahead and head into the... let's see what it is. What is it called? Yeah, the Molten Cave. So now we're going to go ahead and take on the Molten Cave. And like the first game, not so much the second game, because we didn't really come across a fire-based area there. But like the fire crystal, or... what was it called? It was like the Mount Gulg. There will be lava in some places where it will hurt you. So that's going to be kind of the major disincentive. You don't want to stay on the fire floor for that long. And as soon as you get out, I mean, you might want to check your health. I don't do it that much just because I know how much damage happens. But always a good idea. When you walk out of there, check your health, because you might have to heal. And also, you can check in the encounters, because you guys can see that I'm running from them, but that's just because I want to keep my health. But I'm also walking around to see if I can get some, like, extra chests and whatnot, because there are some good items in here, and some helpful items actually towards trying to deal with the boss that's coming. You know, obviously Gutsco's going to be a boss again. So yeah, that's going to be kind of the priority here, but stay out of the fire patches when you play this game. And I do recommend you play this game. It's one of the better Final Fantasy games, in my opinion. Now, while we're making our way through the Molten Cave, another game that I've actually been playing a little bit of has been BioShock Infinite. I've actually been able to get back into that game, and that one, compared to Red Dead, that is surprising me on a number of levels. It's really fun. And usually I'm not the guy who likes first-person shooters, but the story in it is just so odd that it compels you to go further. You know, like, I haven't had that much time in the week, but if there was a game that actually took me out of time, you know, like, where I'm not paying attention to it, it would be BioShock Infinite. One of the things, especially, like, where I'm at, I'm supposed to be getting some weapons from a guy, and the guy is dead, but then we find, like, I don't even know what it is, like a tear in reality or whatever, and Elizabeth has this ability to be able to open up those tears. So I've actually gone into, like, this weird mirror world of it, and in that, the guy's alive, but he's not really. I know this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, guys, but it's just because that's where I am. I don't know how to explain what is going on in the game. That is how sad it kind of is. As you can see, we got some new claws for Lunith, but it's just not in the best interests. He's like at 150 attack power. I might as well keep him there. But yeah, with BioShock, I'm not trying to be vague, guys. This story is very complicated, and that's one of the things I'm kind of liking about it, is that it's so fish out of water kind of thing. It does remind me a lot of the original BioShock, in the fact that you feel, for a good portion of the game, just like a fish out of water. Nothing makes sense. And then as you slowly start making your way, things start making sense. So I'm enjoying the gameplay out of it, and I'm enjoying especially the interactions between the lead characters, Booker DeWitt and Elizabeth, because it's really nice to listen to all that. But we're actually at the end of the Molten Cave, and so now it's time to face Gutsco again.
have the power of fire. I can feel it coursing through my veins.
Ooh, that sounds like it'd be hot, dude.
But it's not enough. I must defeat you, those who have been blessed with the light, to gain the true power of the Crystal of Fire. Now, die!
Yeah. So now he's got the power of the Crystal of Fire, and thinks he's a hothead. See what I did there? Gutsco attacks you. Yeah, we kind of got that already. So now he's actually not Gutsco. He's transformed into this giant dragon thing. Salamander. That doesn't look like a salamander, guys. Over at Square Enix, doesn't. So, but we actually have kind of an ace in the hole, because we've been collecting a bunch of Antarctic winds. Or we have an Arctic wind, I didn't even realize that. So obviously this guy is going to have an ice resistance, or a water resistance. Or not a resistance, but a weakness. I'll learn to talk one of these days, guys. So at this point, it's probably a good idea to just hit the Antarctic winds on him and kill him as quickly as we can. So round one, let's see how this goes. Blizzara, 1200, very nice. Ouch. And is this guy one that gets 3? No, he still gets 2. Eventually we will get to bosses that get 3 turns in 1 round. And that'll be a pain in the butt. Eventually we'll get ones that have like 5. 100, because that obviously didn't do very well. Antarctic Wind, another 600, so that's very nice. We have gotten quite a bit of damage done. So round 2, we're setting up, we're just going to do kind of what we did before while setting up cure spells with Rethia in the meantime, because now he's going to start doing some damage. Antarctic Wind. We have another 700, that's awesome. Quick heal from Rethia. Now, I actually have gotten a question where, like, why don't you just go stick with, like, the higher healing spell in some of these fights? Very simple. I don't have a whole lot of charges for it yet. Once I get higher charges, I will start using Cura a little bit more often. Alright, another 1100, but I can guarantee you next round we're going to be using Cura, because a lot of people are really low. Okay, Antarctic Wind. This is actually going to be the last round we can do that. So, Cura, and we'll have him use the Antarctic Wind. Now, it's kind of funny, like, when I was playing this, I didn't even realize I had an Arctic Wind. That would have done really good damage, I think. Alright, another 800, and game! By 3 rounds, guys. I'm setting the records. I'm happy with the sale. So I remember doing the dry run for this, and they took a little bit longer when going through them. Alright, Gutsco has been defeated, and we have obtained the Horns of Ice! And we are in the Crystals Chamber. That must be the Fire Crystal. Yeah, don't step on that pedestal, dude. That looks like hot metal. And they're on it. Warriors of the Light. I will bless you with the light contained within my eternal flames. Bringers of equilibrium, you must restore the light of hope lost from this world. Okay. We have now been blessed with the power of the Fire Crystal. So that's what we need. And then with that, people might notice another interesting feature. Because, well, I'll get asked this, does that mean you get new jobs? Yes, it does. I get new jobs. We'll look at them in a second, but I want to get out of this molten cave. I believe you get like 4 or 5 jobs each time. I might be wrong about that, but I think at least for the first 2 crystals you do. No, I did not want config. I want jobs. So we have unlocked the Knight, the Ranger, the Geomancer, the Scholar, and I believe that's it. So Hi, Ranger. So that's 4. That's alright. So, now people might be asking, so are you going to use these? Yes, I will in good time. In fact, there will be a boss fight a little bit later that will require the Scholar. And that's an interesting little class. The closest thing I can think of to explain the Scholar to people is if people know the scan spell in most Final Fantasy games, that's kind of what the Scholar does. A better comparison, at least to me, is if people have played Final Fantasy Tactics, the Calculator class is kind of what the Scholar is in this game. So we will actually use that, and obviously the Knight is an upgrade from the Warrior. So Ingus will probably go to that for higher defense. And the only problem is that he can't use axes while he's a Knight, so that's frustrating. We're talking to the Dwarven leader again.
Thank you again. Here, take this, it's yours. You'll find more in the village of Gizzle.
And what did he give us? A magic key. These are really cool. Magic keys can open anything, but they break open once you use them. And there's actually a village where you can purchase them. The only other way that you can do this is with the Thief class. They can pick the locks. But I don't use Thieves that much, and the magic keys are actually fairly cheap. So we'll probably get those just in case. Do you want to rest? Alright, so let's go ahead and get a rest, because we're probably needing it after that fight, just to get our charges back. Alright, slept like a log. Cool. Now, at this point, I actually do try to go through the jobs, and if it seems a little weird, I'm actually comparing the Warrior class to the Knight class, because Warrior has some levels, but the Knight overall turns out to be kind of a better idea, if that makes sense. So it looks like we'd actually be losing some attack, but that's okay. Let's see, left hand. And we did get a Freezing Blade in there while we were in the Molten Cave, but we're going to go ahead and give him 2 swords again, because that'll be helpful. I love it. He's equipped the way he is, and it kind of frustrated me at the moment. So then I went back to the Warrior, and I'm like, well, I'm going to get more attack out of it. But I don't get the solid defense that a Knight would give me. And it also looks like this would take me down a little bit, but then I can bring it back up. So Viking Axe, Freezing Blade, and I'm just messing around with the armor at this point to see whether or not the Warrior would be a good idea or the Knight. And I think at this point, yeah, I just kind of decide, nah, I'm going to go with the Knight. And I actually do kind of like the Knight appearance in this game. If people have played Final Fantasy Dissidia, it's very close to what the Onion Knight looks like in that game. Which is appropriate, because I think the Onion Knight is a job class you can get in this game. Because that's how they start off in the NES version. So we've got that taken care of. And we have taken care of the Crystal of Fire, so we need to figure out where we need to go next. Because now we don't know. We need to go find the next crystal. But it's okay, because the story is going to take care of that for us. Wow, that was kind of abrupt. He looked so happy, and then all of a sudden, poof. Warriors of the Light, Tokul needs you. Okay, if people remember Tokul, they didn't like us very much. What's going on? Are you all right? Our village, we didn't have anything more for them to take. They're going to burn down Tokul. Alright. Well, that sucks. Please, you must stop them. Arg. What have they done? Punch the wall, Luneth. Punch it. You're a monk. Hein has a way to change his weak point. Only a scholar has the power to see through his deception. Grarg. Yes, I'm not taking this seriously at all. Alright, so that kind of gives us a subtle hint as to where we're going next. So we need to go back to Tokul because somebody is threatening it. And we've kind of gotten a hint that there's a guy named Hein. Maybe he's in charge of the people threatening Tokul. We will have to figure that out as we go along. Oh, look, we're fighting little mermaids. Yeah, we can't fight you. Disney would have a cow. We can't kill you. We don't have the means to pay your royalties. But we're actually going to go ahead and call it there. When we get back, we're going to go head to Tokul and see what's going on with this Hein guy. But in the meantime, I am Drak, and this has been a Let's Play of Final Fantasy III for the PlayStation Portable. See you next time.